Kia ora, welcome into this Waitangi edition of DogZone, and it is New Zealand St Leger week, and this race has been elevated to Group 1 status. My pleasure to be joining you, and alongside me this week, well, not quite alongside me, but in terms of a show she is, it's Phillipa Morris live from Auckland. Phillipa, you covered for me while I was on holiday a couple of weeks ago, threw out some winners too. The weight of expectation is upon you. Good evening.
Very good evening to you too, Rozo. A pleasure to be back off the reserve bench once again, of course, with Andy away on his honeymoon, and hopefully I can pick another two maybe this week, but yes, pressure's on.
Well, your strike rate's good and it's better than mine, and I'm going to have to lift my game, but Andy did very well last week and hopefully it paid for that honeymoon. Now on Saturday, he did get married to Janine Jobson. Janine I've known for a long, long time. This was out at Rockwood Lodge, not far from Hororata, west of Christchurch, Fairway Inland. Gee, you haven't been out west for a while. That's greyhound racing luminary there. Andy and Janine in the middle, obviously. Corey Steele to the left and Jasmine Tanner with him, and to the right, Steve and Bonnie Evans, Steve being best man for Andy. Look, it was a terrific greyhound party, and there were people there that I hadn't seen in years. And I was thinking, gee, haven't we aged quite well, Phillipa? And I'm not sure if that was true, but I was thinking that anyway. And I got the chance to have a decent chat to Ray Adcock and plenty of others too that I hadn't seen in a while. So well done to Andy and Janine. They're sorted. Interesting, you should go away during a Group 1 time, but that's all good for us, isn't it? Active Electrical, Christchurch, New Zealand, St Leger. The Christchurch is the Active Electrical, the New Zealand is the St Leger. Group 1 level this year, and here is the market for it. Extraordinary field. Max Dancer, a Class 1 dog, $2.35. Next door, a Class 5 dog, Kiwi Gal at $9. $7.50 OPAWA Viking. Seems quite skinny given that dog's lack of finishing power, but certainly got the speed early. Diddilee's 2 from 2 the track, $8.50. Von Strass was the Futures favourite going into the heats, $4.20. Double Speed, 1/8 heat from the same draw, box 6, $9.50. $18 Idle Dude makes his third Group 1 final in a matter of months, and MANOOKA the outside at $12. Phillipa, quick look at that market there. Wouldn't be that easy to weigh up, but we've got a Class 1 favourite at $2.35.
Yes, I don't think I would have picked that last week, Rozo, when I looked at the heats, but yeah, I don't think there's a lot of value outside either in that field, like you say, a little bit skinny there with a OPAWA Viking, but $2.30 I think for Max Dancer off that heat win, still, that's okay money.
Diddilee's got the 4 and Von Strass the 5. Now, the Form Pro speed map, and thanks to them for getting that to us very early for this DogZone show. It just makes it a wee bit tough for them, and they'll both press down towards the rail, but Max Dancer is already there. And Phillipa, we'll talk through runner by runner in a moment, but with Kiwi Gal drawn 2 and a OPAWA Viking in 3, there's speed underneath those dogs in the middle, which might make it tough for them. Yes,
there's quite a few dogs there, like you say, Rozo, on the inside that like to lead in this race, and actually there's plenty with box speed. I think the outside too, maybe Idle Dude doesn't have a lot, and maybe a little bit there with Von Strass, but yes, I think it's going to make it really interesting once again into that first bend.
Well, let's get your thoughts runner by runner here as we go through the field for the St Leger of 2019. It's race 10-8-22, Thursday night at Addington, tomorrow if you're watching this live. So, Max Dancer off the inside for Jean and Dave Fahey. Once again, a very strong hand in a Group 1 race, especially on their local track. They do have half of the finalists here. This greyhound has just had the 5 starts. She was dragged down badly at her start prior, but she bounced back brilliantly here. So we have a look at this race. Phillipa, bang, right off the boxes there, angled to the rail on the green and white rug, and had things covered well and truly right from the off, with MANOOKA in the black rug chasing in vain.
She certainly did, and clocked a 30-13, Rozo, and if you go back and watch all of her starts, every time bar the one where she was really unlucky, she's flown off the lid. So I think coming up with box number 1, if she does this, you see she clocked the time, she might be a Class 1 chaser, but I think she's good enough to win.
She hasn't drawn close in yet, but the way she races, Phillipa, looks like that will be ideal for her, and drawn underneath Kiwi Gal is going to be good as well, and the other speed with OPAWA Viking. Just looking at the sectionals there, she's home in 12.29. She held up in 5.91 at 11.93 to the back mark. So really, if she reproduces those figures again, Phillipa, she's going to be near the pace or just behind OPAWA Viking's pace. And clearly, she's got a very good strong run home.
She certainly does, and I think you're right. If she's in behind OPAWA Viking, we know he just falters that last 50 metres, so I think even if she doesn't lead, she may be able to get over the top of him.
I did see Dave Fahey at the wedding on Saturday, and I asked him whether he was surprised by Max Dancer, and he kind of said yes and no, which I think was a fair answer under the circumstances. Let's hear what he had to say to Andy McCook after the heat.
Dave, start number 5 for Max Dancer today. She's now the fastest qualifier for a Group 1. You must be over the moon with that.
Yeah, she last week she got skittled and finished poor last, well back, and so I gave her a trial on Monday, and she went great. She went 11.62 from the path, which is pretty quick, and yeah, I just crossed my fingers she'd get a start, and she did.
So you're not surprised at all with her being able to win a Group 1 heat?
Well, probably the way she did it, and that was the hardest heat, I thought. So it was a great run.
Wow, and now she's a $2.35 favourite, Max Ledger, Class 5 runner right next door to her, and that is a Kiwi gal. And terrific that Kiwi gal is qualified here for this, because it gives us northern representation. Jared Judy and Denise Cottam from up at Tikawhara, they've travelled her again. They took her down, of course, for a semi-final of the New Zealand Cup back in November, and she was certainly better for that experience down around that time. They had trialled her prior to that as well, and she comes back in really solid form here. Philippa, she can get up on the speed, which is obviously critical. She does hang off the rail a bit, which is probably going to help the favourite here, and there are other stronger runners at the end, but they've done a great job with her, and she deserves her spot.
She certainly does. Like you say, she's a Class 5 chaser, Rozo, so she deserves to be in here. Like you say, she keeps her line off the boxes, so she won't squish down onto Mac Dancer, but I also think that's probably a plus for her. She's not going to hinder herself too much either, and even OPAWA Viking doesn't really crush down either, so I still think she'll be in the hunt early. It's just like you say, whether she can hang on to finish into the minors.
Certainly hope she can. I think Jared and Denise deserve everything that comes their way for travelling her. It's a long way down, and she's taking on those runners at home, obviously, who are very tough to beat as a rule. Let's hear what Jared had to say after the heat.
Jared, Kiwi gal making her way into the final next week, and you must be pleased with her run.
Yeah, no, we're super happy. You know, we sort of come down with no expectations, so to make the final has been great.
Pretty consistent early, and that's obviously her best chance in the final next week.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got to jump and she's got to lead. Probably anywhere four out for box draws would be nice for her. So, yeah.
Unfortunately, they haven't got the draw that they wanted a wee bit closer in, but she did lead up in a 5.89. It was the fastest, albeit they were really tight times going into that first bend. Kiwi gal. Number 3 in the race is OPAWA Viking, and this is another for the Fahey team here, and a dog who's only won 1 to date here on the track, and that was in a 30.81, but in his heat he did fire to the lead, and he's run to the back mark in a 17.64 before being run down by double speed. That's a phenomenal run, Philippa, to the back mark, and his own lead up was 5.91, so it's only a touch slower than Kiwi gal and Max Dancer. But the real worry is his finish. He had the slowest run home comfortably in a 12.74.
It certainly is, Rozo, but he goes so well over these distances as well. 11 times for the 4 wins and 6 minor placings, and even off the box too, 6 times for 3 wins and 3 placings, so he's well drawn, and he's probably the likely leader. With me, it was kind of, is Kiwi gal going to lead as OPAWA Viking, and even Max Dancer, so I think, like I say earlier, it's going to be interesting off the lids which dog shows up first. He'd want to be probably leading out to be in the mix because we know he's weak.
Yeah, he's no chance if he doesn't find the front, and he's going to have to get around Kiwi gal, and that's not going to be especially easy. However, let's hear what Dave Fahey has to think about OPAWA Viking.
Dave, OPAWA Viking makes his way through to the final, 17.64 to the back. He certainly got pace.
Yeah, definitely has. If he gets the front and there's any trouble behind, yeah, he could take advantage of it.
Ideal box draw for him in the final?
Just draw inside Kiwi gal will be good.
Well, sadly that did not happen. That was recorded with Andy McCook after the heats, and we thought we'd leave that in because he wanted to draw inside Kiwi gal, and that did not happen. OPAWA Viking is to the outside. So is DIDDILEE. He comes up with box number 4, Greyhound, who has been runner-up in a Group 1 already, second in the Spion Rose. Off this box, actually, box 4 back in December, behind kennelmate Nature's Gent. This dog is 2 from 2 on the track, having won on the undercard on New Zealand Cup night. We'll go to his win last week in a 30 and 37. Philippa, on this occasion, he had box number 1. Kiwi Gal in the 4 led. I thought he was going to make a crucial mistake on the corner when he started to wander out wide, and then he realised it was Kiwi Gal and ducked to the inner again.
Yes, and he almost looked like he was going to hit the rail, but I thought he was really smart, Rozo. He hunted down here, and when he gets to the home bend, he actually hooks in instead of going around her, and I think that was the winning of the race for him. And we know he's clocked a 30.03 here, 30.09, sorry, when he won the first time looking at the track. I think he'd even taken a little bit of improvement out of last week. And then I think with all these dogs leading into the boxes, if he's a little bit slow away, he might be able to hunt down to the rail and get a nice passage through.
And he can press for the rail at times, this dog. I know he was awkward recently at Hattrick, but he got a bit of a nudge from the inside by Big Time Levi and then got caught from behind. In that Spion Rose, he was pressing a long way from home against that rail. He squeezed Dynamonte out of the placings actually that particular night. So, DIDDILEE, joint oldest in the field, 2.5 years old, along with Kiwi Gal. They've got that extra experience. Let's hear from Paul Freeman.
Well, Paul, we've had the heats of the St Leger, DIDDILEE making his way through to the final, and you must be happy with his run.
Hey, tickle pink, and obviously getting box 1 was a big assist.
Come through the heat A-OK at the moment?
Yeah, looks real good, yep.
Going down the back straight, chasing the pacemaker. Were you confident at any point he could get the job done?
Well, I can't lie to you, I didn't know what the 4 dog was in front, considering I travelled down with the 4 dog, but yes, still happy, very happy.
So listening to that, obviously in the final, box 1's where you wouldn't mind seeing him?
I think the final will be a bit harder. It's a little bit harder down here in Dave Fahey's playground, so obviously we're going to need box 1 or 2 and a bit of luck to be on the top of the podium.
Paul Freeman talking on behalf of his partner there, Angela Turnbull. The kennel have had a really good run lately, with Nature's Gent, of course, going bang bang with 2 Group 1s consecutively at Hattrick and DIDDILEE, providing the Quinella in the first of those. Dog number 5 in the race is STRASS. This girl wears blinkers. She's 6 from 8 at the track, 29 and 94, which she did at her second New Zealand start in a Class 1 race off box number 4. She was the Future's favourite leading in, and she had box number 1, so that obviously was a good thing. Comes up with box 5 in the final. But let's have a look at this performance here. STRASS winning in a 30 and 37 with Idle Dude in the gold rug giving chase. STRASS the inside in the red rug, and Idle Dude, they're matching strides at the moment. And Philippa, we thought STRASS would win, had to do a bit of work.
Certainly did. He jumped well enough, and then he actually got headed there, which was surprising. My only question mark is the box number 5, Rozo. I think maybe has a little bit of work cut out trying to get across, like I say, with a lot of these dogs that have that early speed. For me, I think he's really going to have to be classy. We've seen 2 back in that restricted age racing against Ophelia Allen, was a little bit slow away, found a bit of trouble, and I could probably see that happening, and if so, it's going to have to be really good to recover. That
would be the issue, drawn in a field like this with the blinkers on. She came home in a 12.30, so she was one of the strongest home along with Max Dancer, but also one of the slowest lead-ups there, Philippa in 6.04, which kind of highlights what you're saying there about that early speed and being in the middle. But she's adding a lot of interest down there to the racing in Christchurch. Let's hear from that man again, Dave Fahey.
Dave, a greyhound that we've seen a little bit of, and she's shown us immense ability at times. STRASS, she was good tonight.
She went good. She went all right, but I was pretty disappointed with the run home time. She's a very strong dog, and it was pretty disappointing.
Chased a weakish type down the back. Were you confident she'd get over top of them?
I was, yeah, but I thought she'd go a lot quicker than that.
Looking to the final, what's the ideal draw for her?
She'd like one again as well, but yeah, it's probably there's something not quite right with her to sort it out.
Okay, well, if someone can sort it out, it is Dave and Jean Fahey and the team there. They have an incredible record in Group 1 races. Ray Adcock is a man we call the master. He has got double speed in the race. Dog number 6 did win. from box number 6 in the heat. Out of Birchbrook, a sister to Can't Catch Tim, a daughter of Nina's Girls Silver Collar winner, so a lot of strength there, and Double Speed was able to win in a 30:28 competitive time on the night, and he's a nice strong dog. Let's have a look at him here in the green rug, getting to a nice spot here outside of OPAWA Viking. So we've referred to it earlier with the Viking, Philippa, how quickly they went to the back mark, but of course Double Speed was always set up to win here.
Certainly was, and he's the Class 5 chaser as well in this field. Once again, it's just the draw for me. It's another dog that's got early speed, Rosso, so does tend to keep his line, which is also a plus. Doesn't really hunt down too hard, but he is going to have to need a bit of luck to swoop around them or get the right run in the race as they come through that first bend and then try and make his way into the race. So that was the only question mark for me, is whether or not he can put himself into the race early enough once again. And I also do worry about the likes of MANOOKA maybe hunting down and causing a little bit of trouble too.
Yes, there is that concern. He does have the experience, of course, though, as you say, being a Class 5 chaser, raced by Ray Adcock and Ray Amer. And Andy McCook caught up with Ray Adcock after that performance.
Ray, Double Speed making his way into the St Ledger next week, and you must be happy with his run.
Yeah, I was, because he ran on, and he's still a young dog learning.
It's not something we've seen from him yet in behind and running a dog down, but he looked nice and strong today.
He's got stronger as he gets older, yeah.
Looking forward to the final. What's the ideal draw for him?
Oh, 1 or 2. And Von STRASS out in 8.
Well, right next door to Von STRASS, I'm sorry, Ray, but that's the way that it fell with Double Speed in box number 6 again for the final outside of Von STRASS. But as Philippa says, he does tend to hold his line, and hopefully those dogs, particularly like DIDDILEE, might be able to press down and help him out just a little bit, but there could be the issue from MANOOKA out wide. And what about Idle Do, dog number 7 in the race for Tom Rodewald and Marcy Flip? What an extraordinary performance from this dog over recent times, Philippa, to run now in his 3rd Group 1 race in a matter of months. Also placing 3rd in the Spion Row, so he's Group 1 placed already, and he's just doing an outstanding job for a young dog who really sort of, yeah, he surprised us getting into his first Group 1, then his 2nd, crikey, now his 3rd.
Yes, I really like this dog too, Rosso, and I struggled to leave him out, but I did, just because he tends to be a little bit slow away from the lids. I mean, he actually jumped pretty handy for him last week, which was surprising, but he just seems to have that one pace, and he continues to plod and really put himself into this race. And we know he's going to be coming home at the end, but I just think with these dogs with exceptional first sectionals and, you know, some strong dogs as well, he's really going to have his work cut out for him.
He was 12:38 home there in the heat, but he was 12:10 to the back mark, which was the slowest of the finalists. What did Marcy Flip make of it?
Well, Marcy, you've got Idle Dude through to the final of next week's St Ledger, and you must be real pleased with his run.
Yes, I am, Andy. I was worried about him getting around that first bend, but once he was sort of quite handy, and I was like 3rd, and then I saw the 4th sort of coming to the end of it at the end of the back straight, and I'm like, I'll just keep going, boy. Not that I really want to come back next week, but hey, I'm going to come back now.
It's Group 1 racing, I'm sure you don't mean that.
Well, no, yeah, he's just keeps stepping up, so pretty happy with him. Well, very happy with him. Ice cream tonight on the way home.
In an ideal world, what draw do we come up with?
8.
Close. Box number 7 for you, Marcy. MANOOKA in 8, though, might be a bit of a downer for you, but Idle Dude, of course, was in box 8 when placing in that Group 1 in the Spion Rose. So, number 8, MANOOKA. It's the final of the Fahey foursome here. Came off quite a long break into that heat, was paying nearly $30. Philippa was beaten nearly 7 lengths by Max Dancer, but given the break that he had, really good effort from him to lift and to get into the final for owner Tim Keynes, who's had a lot of success over the years with the Fahey team.
Certainly was, and he made his own luck too. He had box number 7 and he really pushed down, and I know the favourite in that race, the likes of Ophelia Allen, she's only a little dog, and he said get out of the way and push down to the rail and swoop there nicely to get him behind Max Dancer. As you say, my query is just that outside draw. He does tend to go better from inside, and he is a dog that certainly doesn't hold his line. He does look to cut straight down from the box. And
$12 on that market, which I thought might be a bit skinny, but He is from the Fahey team, and let's hear from that man one more time.
Dave, MANOOKA makes his way through to the final, and you must be happy with that fresh effort.
Yeah, I was really surprised with that. He's had a few problems, and I've turned him out a couple of times, and sort of rushed him back a bit for this race, and he went great.
Looking to the final, what's the ideal draw for him?
On the inside somewhere.
And that hasn't worked out, unfortunately, for MANOOKA. Phillipa Morris, let's have your selections, please, for the New Zealand St Leger.
So I put Max Dancer on top, Rozo. I just think he can jump a lead and hang on to win. I've put Diddilee in for second. I just think that he might get the run there in behind. I have put KIWI Gal in for third. I think maybe she'll be up handy and just get run down. And OPAWA Viking, same kind of thing. I think he'll also be up handy. Maybe Diddilee will pass those two up the straight.
I'm with you certainly on Max Dancer and Diddilee. I did poke Von Strass in there as well. 1, 5, 4 and 6 for me. Von Strass is going to need some luck, there's no question about that. Diddilee, you could argue the same, and double speed out in box 6, I thought still a chance. Leaving KIWI Gal out of that was very hard to do. We will find out at 8:22, race 10, tomorrow night, Thursday, and Phillipa Morris and I will be on track to present the night for you. And it's a very interesting night. It involves some Super 6 racing. We'll talk about that and a few other things soon.
And racing, Randy Raccoon out, very wide jump, good, but not as quick as Shanyaka goes to the lead. After those, Dream Runner, they're followed up on the outside. Lucy lingers down on the inside, same again. Well back, Blazing Speed, they're followed by Smash Hurricane, but away goes the Randy one. Randy Raccoon by 5. We'll get there from Shanyaka, they're followed by Dream Runner.
So that's Randy Raccoon on Friday, breaking the longest standing class record in the book there at Addington Raceway, and he was on debut for Callum Ware. He clocked 17:08. The previous best for a maiden was 17:10. That was Nervous Wave in April of 2006, and 7 months later, Nervous Wave won the Group 1 Galaxy. Could this dog do the same? He's a half-brother to Rocket Raccoon, who's won 17 and a best time of 17:01. That was Randy Raccoon and the maiden sprint track record at Addington last Friday. Right, let's talk about Addington. Thursday night, tomorrow night, on the undercard to the St Leger, we have some Super 6 racing. What is that, you ask? Well, 6-dog fields, specifically 6-dog fields with boxes 3 and 6 vacant, prompted by the need for safe racing practices and animal welfare. So it has been determined that this will be the trial. Phillipa, interested in your thoughts here on the Super 6, obviously the New Zealand St Leger and the New Zealand Racing Series, so they've only got 7 nominations for that, so that's a 7-dog field. We do see plenty of 6-dog fields here and there, of course, through scratchings, but this is specifically 6-dog fields with boxes 3 and 6 vacant. Your initial thoughts on it?
I can see what they're trying to do, Rozo. I do wonder about couple of things. I think sometimes we do see in these 6-dog fields, it's not going to make too much of a difference when you're still running into bends at the likes of Hattrick. Maybe if it was down a straight track, maybe yes it would work, but I still think you'll find a bit of trouble. And the other query for me is you're leaving 2 dogs out of these races, and we do see dogs, we know that there's already problems trying to get dogs into fields, hence they've brought in the rule you can nominate 3 times, you don't get a start, you immediately get a start the 4th time. So for me it's just, you know, maybe if we added more races in 6-dog fields, it would work. But yeah, I do query a little bit of the dogs that are going to be sitting on the sideline as well.
Yes, I guess ultimately if 6-dog fields were to become the norm, I think we would have to have extra races, specifically in some areas where, as you say, some dogs are getting a start. However, it will be fascinating to see a card, fairly much, 10 of the 12, with those 6-dog races on Thursday night. Now, on Monday, we had the beginning of the City of Palmerston North Golden Chase. The 6-week qualifying period started. They got 38 nominations in the end. $7,600 in money to go to the charity. Club have bumped it up to $10,000, vouchers going through to a charity selected by the Palmerston North City Council, so that's tremendous. Now, after Monday, the leaderboard, guess who's on top? You wouldn't have thought. Monster Fish, 25.82. He's done it again. He's in on Monday again. Actually, he's drawn box 6 and Fair Dodger's inside him. It could be an interesting race, that. You Can Be, an import first up for Lisa Cole. Jumped last, ran 26.01, thanks. Big Time Levi ran second. Big Time Caleb, who's not nominated, 26.07. Couple of solo trials. Fair Dodger ran 26.11, and look down the bottom. Nature's Gent, triple Group 1 winner. He only managed 26.30, although Angela Turnbull predicted that time for him, 26.30, but it just emphasises he just doesn't seem to handle Palmerston North. He may have slipped a little early. Now, this is Monster Fish winning. He drives to the lead. This was a 6-dog field. We saw Big Time Tears stood on and drift. We saw Fantastic Teddy hold out a couple of dogs. So we can see there can be trouble in a 6-dog race, like Phillipa Morris suggested there earlier. Of course, boxes 3 and 6, specifically vacant, will help that situation. But this is the 6th Palmerston North meeting in a row where Monster Fish has just come out and run and won. And with a 25.82, he's into the final come March the 29th without question. There aren't going to be 8 faster times than that between now and March 18th, Commentators' Day, when the qualifying finishes. Now on Monday, pulled out some interesting runners here. I mean, there's a whole host going for the Golden Chase again, but Big Time Rocco won a maiden sprint in really quick time last Monday, gets his chance over the 4:57. Thrilling Billy and DIDDILEE are in race 14. DIDDILEE, of course, will be backing up from the St. Ledger. Thrilling Billy for Peter Ferguson, who's got a handful nominated, including Waikato Cup winner Rumble Soldier, who's in box 1 in race 15. Fair Dodger, who solo trialled last week, might be able to set a faster time in race conditions, has number 4. Now, I didn't include Monster Fish there because, as I say, he's home, but he's in box 6 in that particular race. And there are more runners nominated who will add interest in weeks to come, the likes of Penny Mac, Kiwi Gal, who of course is in the St. Ledger final, and a couple of imports as well who have not yet shown up on New Zealand racetracks. Right, last week Andy and I threw up a few bets, and Andy pulled off a screamer, Unconscionable. It actually won twice. He tipped it out at Cambridge, paid $8 the token. I think it paid $7 on Sunday, and I think you could get it at $11 fixed there on Thursday. Well done to you, Andy, and I hope that's paying for the honeymoon. We DogZone Dinah Dave, Andy and I, between us, and Mila, good winner, downgrading, delivered on Friday. Yeah, I helped with that Dinah Dave DogZoning. Big Time Forrest got beaten a nose. Big Time Levi got beaten half a length. Way too many seconds for me there. But Big Time Jetty, thankfully, won on Friday at $2.70 fixed. Big deal when Unconscionable pays double figures or thereabouts. Right, Phillipa, you've been in a really good form. When we've had you in, you've done the job, and you've got a whole host of bets for us.
Yeah, I've gone a little more, trying to give myself a few more chances, I think, Rosso. A bit of pressure on, but yeah, I do like a few here today. Obviously, my best bet, Ophelia Allen on Thursday. She comes up with box number 1, thinks she should be winning, and a couple of others in there, as you can see. Downgraded Butter Ball comes up with a nice draw, and yes, well graded too, Big Time Eve, but a whole list of them there on starting off on Thursday.
Nice. Well, I'd suggest that people note those down and follow them through, and we will recap next week. Mine, not so many, but I do like Perfect Result in the New Zealand Racing Series Distance at Addington. Be a good race with Translator and Tradition. It's a really nice field. That Party Every Day was an eye catcher last week at Hattrick. Got into a wee bit of strife on Monday, so I'll be going again there. Race 4 on Friday night, and I've got to go Jetty again. Got checked on Monday when I thought the dog would win, but Eve just flew that day, and Jetty got checked early, but Jetty's drawn 6 again like last Friday, so good luck, see how you go. And Phillipa, look forward to joining you at Addington Raceway for the St. Ledger final and the Super 6 racing.
Yes, can't wait to it. Group 1 racing, and like you say, Super 6, something a little bit interesting, and very much looking forward to seeing you down there tomorrow, Rosso.
And that is DogZone for another week. Until we meet next time in this format, many winners.